Okay, welcome. Mike Caton from Ace Method Coaching, and this is my weekly live stream show where I take a handful of the videos that have been sent to me from athletes around the world. When I say athletes, hurdlers from around the world who want me to review their videos to give them some feedback on how to get better. The reason they do this is because this is what I do. At Ace Method Coaching, I help coaches and athletes who want to get better with hurdling. I've got multiple things that help them. I've got an instructional series of videos on YouTube. I also sell some instructional videos called Hurdling 101, 201, 301. That's for absolute beginners to intermediate to advanced. Also hurdle training plans. Also I do, especially this time of year, a whole lot of what I call virtual coaching, meaning if you want a hurdle coach to help you, but you don't have one around, I'm the next best thing. I can't be there at the track with you, but if you could send me videos, I can look at those videos, tell you what you need to work on, give you some drills, things like that, answer all the questions that you need to help you get better. I do a lot of that and it goes super well. Everybody loves it and it is guaranteed to work. So far, it has literally helped everybody who I've worked with has have really good and quick goals. So if you want to do that, check out my website at acemethodcoaching.com and you can learn all about it. But this here is for the free requests that I get. I can't possibly address all of them. So what I do is I just take a handful of them and each week I put them on this show just to show people a glimpse of what it's like. But to be honest with you, these are what I would call a quickie version. Maybe like a 5-minute version on each of these athletes versus the half hour or more that I spend when you do a virtual coaching session. So keep that in mind. Okay, if you see this and you think, how can I get involved with this? Same thing, go to my website at acemethodcoaching.com. Go to the hurdle page. You'll see on there a place that says free hurdle review. Click here to learn more, and you can click on there. It'll some questions and answers. Also show you how to upload your video. Please don't email me your videos. Do them this way. It all comes through the same process. Okay? So by the way, if you have any questions during this, you can leave them here in the chat. And when I finish looking at the videos, I'll come and address what I can. And what else? I know there's more. If you want to send me a video right now, it's too late to get it on this show. Basically what I do is usually on Fridays or Saturdays, I'll do the show and I'll look to see what videos came in since the last one and I'll choose from them. And that's it. So if you want to do that, you know where to go. I'm going to bounce out. Let me change my screen. I think I was on the wrong screen all this time. Apologize, so it looked really ugly. I do that all the time. Okay, so here we go. Let me tell you who we're going to see today. We're going to see Abner, and then Amber, and then Danica, and I think it's Messiah, and then Vamsi, and then Weston. Okay, I'm starting with Abner. Abner is somebody who I reviewed before, even took his video and turned it into a short that I used on my social media. Abner's situation is he's a senior in high school. He's 5'5" tall. So obviously that presents a little bit of a challenge when you're trying to jump over a 39-inch hurdle. But he has obviously figured some things out. So I'm going to show you here Abner's video from early in this year. And here he is, closest to the camera. Right? Not a pretty picture. 5-stepping. I think he 3-stepped the first hurdle and then he 5-stepped. And I wouldn't point that out unless I knew how much better he looked here. Let me tell you real quick, as soon as it starts Okay, so here's Abner now. He's in lane 2. Quite an improvement. Quite an improvement. That's actually really, really impressive, Abner. Great job. I mean, 3-step the whole way and actually pretty darn fast. Okay, so Abner's question is, how do I get my trail leg and my lead leg to snap to the ground? Okay, well, okay, so if you've seen my video, and I believe you have, Abner, which is the one about how to hurdle if you're short, and because you're doing this in that you're taking off from far away and you're having to compensate by landing a little farther away than usual. So you're always going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to snapping down your lead leg and your trail leg, because you have to float a little longer than your taller competitors. But to answer your question, the way to get your lead leg to come down faster, let me see something real quick before I answer that question. Okay, is when you come off this hurdle right here, and you see here you reach the top and you're in front of the hurdle, and then you want to come down on the hurdle, which you are very well. If when you're coming down, okay, you take your trail arm, which is right here, your right arm, yours just sort of hung low at your side. And what you want is your trail arm. Okay, I'm going to use this guy as an example. This guy who's winning the race with the purple. Look at his trail arm. Right here, it's bent at 90 degrees. And then when he comes off the hurdle, it swings forward just like he was running, right? Whereas yours is just straight, hanging here the whole time. You want to pull it through just like you're running. And then here's what I tell the athletes that I'm coaching is as you pull your trail arm through, think about pulling your hips forward with it. So your hips will come forward, which is like going from sitting to standing, and then your leg, in order to stand up, will automatically drop. So pulling your hips forward as you descend the hurdle drops your lead leg down sooner, and that's going to help you. And then you also mentioned your trail leg. Well, keep in mind that your trail leg only needs to go as high as it needs to go to get over the hurdle. So really, right here, as it goes over the hurdle and your trail knee is here, your body should drop, but your knee should stay in the same spot, if that makes sense. And you actually brought your knee up higher than necessary. So therefore, when you got right here, it had a long way to drop. So really, and again, it doesn't always work this way, but this guy who wins the race, watch his trail leg. He's a good example. His knee is even with the top, and he comes down, and watch, it doesn't really go much higher. It's just that his body sunk down and he ended up in a really nice spot right here. Whereas yours was really high early on, and then you just dropped with it. And so it takes a while to drop. So think about coming through, standing up, and your knee going forward but not coming down, and then claw it down to the track. Okay? So technique-wise, that's to answer your question. But overall, great job, my friend. You're doing great. I'm super impressed. Okay, moving on to Amber. Amber here is in the 11th grade, so junior in high school, third year hurdling, having a hard time maintaining her 3-step rhythm. Come on, Amber. Okay, let me pull this. Darn it. Okay, not the most ideal camera angle, but I'm a little bit surprised because you look like you are very well managing three-stepping. But I guess you're saying it's hard. So how do I get better? A little bit hard from this camera angle, but I can tell you this. It might be the same answer for most everybody, is because most everybody, if they were to run full speed and not put on the brakes, they would be able to three-step no problem. But they're doing things that are slowing them down, that are cutting out their speed, and therefore it makes them hard to three-step. So in your case, took a really good first step there, nice step there, nice step there. You're really good with your starts. But watch this. As we get into your last two steps going into the hurdle, you're starting to a bit reach out. Not bad. Slow down a little bit, putting on the brakes. It'd be much better had you just continued these steps like this all the way to the hurdle instead of that little reach out here. And then, yeah. Okay, so your right leg, you want to plant it. And then you want to push really hard off that right leg. And what I look for to see if you pushed off hard enough is just looking at the leg that it looked like you really drove hard off of it. And when you do, it ends up getting totally straight. Yours doesn't. You just hit the ground and then sort of leap up a little bit. You need to drive harder off of your plant leg, which ends up being your trail leg. And then also you just went too high, which that cut back on your speed a little bit. But your hurdling is actually pretty good. You just went a little too high, and I think that you don't drive hard enough off of your right leg. Okay? So that's a quick version of what I think you need to do. Okay, looking at Danica. Danica, 10th grade, third year hurdling. Challenged with her steps, wants to know how to go lower, and overall just how to fix her technique. She is, let's see here. This is Danica right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let me see your other video, Danica, see which one I want to spend the time on. I remember one of them was a little better than the others. Okay, so Danica. Overall, I mean, I see you're four-stepping, doing the best you can. Basically, I mean, I'd be interested to see what you ran like without hurdles in front of you, but you're just, I can't find a nice way to say this, but you're just all over the place. I mean, you are like wild, crazy form, right? And all that stuff is just messing with your balance and messing with your speed. Let me figure out something. This is your first hurdle. Usually a person goes over the first hurdle with their dominant leg or their preferred leg. In your case, it's your left leg. And then theoretically, this one is your not favorite leg. Looks about right. So left, right, left. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna have to go over 3 different hurdles here. Okay, so first thing is you're running and you're just wobbling all over the place. You need to get up tall. You need to strike the ground on the balls of your feet and run like you're sprinting. Like you literally need to sprint, okay? And then come at this hurdle, keeping your hips forward, keeping your shoulders forward, and drive your lead leg, your lead knee right at the top of this hurdle. But see, you're too close to the hurdle, probably because you're taking 4 steps when you need to be taking 3 steps. So because you were too close, see how you had to swing your leg around? And then you're too high on the hurdle, too forward on the hurdle. I mean, you're like probably 16 inches over the hurdle. And then because you're so high and you went over it off balance, you're landing off balance. So this is all messing with your speed to the next hurdle. So because you don't have enough speed going into the next hurdle, you got to take 4 again, which puts you again too close to the hurdle. So you have to swing your leg around from the side like this, and that messes with your balance and it gets you off balance like this. This is all because of that. Okay, see how your shoulders are turned to the side? And again, it's this chain reaction of twisting because of you taking off too close to the hurdle and jumping too high on the hurdle. Where what I would do is the same thing I talk about all the time. It's talked about a lot in my Hurdling 101 and 201. You need to train with your hurdles pinched closer together, one where you can 3-step. And you can get good at 3-stepping, landing, striking the ground properly like a sprinter, going over the hurdle nice and low, keeping your hips forward, shoulders forward, and get really good at that. And then you're going to find out very quickly that, wow, this is easy, and actually these hurdles feel too close. So what I need to do is spread them out a little bit. And then you just incrementally or systematically spread them out like 6 inches. Get good at that, spread them out another 6 inches and good at that. And keep doing that until you get to the spacing that you want to get, which, by the way, is going to be about 12 inches short of official spacing. And if you can do that in practice, you can go into a meet and 3-step. That's how it works, and that's what I'd have you do. Okay, Messiah. I guess that's how you say your name. Okay. Let's see here. 10th grade. Basically saying, I want to be faster at this. What am I doing wrong? Okay. I just realized, let me see here. I'm almost positive that this is you right here. But I don't want to spend the time talking about the wrong girl, and I forgot to write it down in my notes. So I have got to bounce out real quick. Sorry, everybody. You're going to see a little bit behind the scenes. Here she is, black uniform, lane 2. Okay. Good thing I'm organized. All right. So yes, I was right. Okay. So, good hurdler just wants to know how to get faster. I really appreciate that. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, it's pretty common. So, first thing is you are driving your knee a little higher. I mean, overall, this position is good. I think your lead arm is okay. I think your trail arm is okay. I like the way you're pushing off of your left leg. I like the way you drove your knee towards the hurdle, but you are too high. Okay, keep that in mind. You're way too high over that hurdle, which means you have to wait now to come down. And when you do come down, a little bit of a braking action there, and your knee isn't high enough. Let me see if I can get you closer. Darn it, darn it. Okay. I don't think that you pushed hard enough off of your left leg. Just by how quickly it came through, that's just my sense. Like, for example, see this girl here who's winning the race? This is the look. Now, I'm not saying she has great form. Don't get me wrong. I can already see things wrong with what she's doing. But this is the look of a person who totally committed and pushed really hard off of their plant leg. And when I see yours, even though those girls are in the way, it should still be more straight at this point. And it's already pulled through a little too soon, which tells me, and plus just when I just look at your speed going over the hurdle, I just think you need to have push harder off that leg. So that's the first thing, is push really hard off your plant leg. So let's talk about that leg, because I think that's a big issue for you. That's your trail leg. And you're going over the hurdle and your trail leg is hanging low. Now, is it low because you're too high, or are you too high because it's low? I don't know. All I know is you're too high and it's hanging too low. Identical things happening with this girl. You guys, it's like mirror. And you're pulling it through underneath you. See that? That trail leg is underneath right here. It needed to have come out from the side, even out from your hip, which will enable you to go lower, right? And then when you come through, it would have swung around and then end up at a similar position to this. And then again, just like I don't think that you pushed off hard enough off your right leg, which becomes your trail leg, I don't think you're pushing hard enough off of your right leg. Yeah, before I didn't think you pushed off hard enough your left leg. Now I'm saying the same thing about your right leg, because right here, what I normally would want to see, I don't see a good example in these girls, unfortunately, but right here, come on. I should see hard driving off this right leg with this knee still as high as the hip and your foot behind you. Let me give you an example. Let me do a split screen. So we're talking about pushing off of your right leg for your left. Okay, so I don't have all these women in this video lead with their left. Okay, but here's what I want you to see. Let's look at the two leaders here. This one right here. She's on her toe, driving off of this leg hard, and then her trail leg, her thigh is still parallel to the ground, so her knee is even with her hips, and her foot is behind her knee. This is a picture of driving hard. And then we look at this gal right here, pushing really hard off that lead leg, and this is her trail leg, and her trail leg is even higher than her knee and her foot. So this looks like somebody pushing really hard and driving forward, right? But when we watch you, come on. I got too much video stuff going on here. Okay, so when we look at you, here's you in that spot. I gotta get forward now. I went too far. So here you are pushing off this leg and your knee is already low, right? You never saw a hard drive off of your right leg and your knee is already low and reaching out in front of you. So you need to push, drive hard off of that. I think your running is fine. Your plant step is actually pretty exceptional. So you're not braking there, but you're jumping too high, not pushing hard enough off that leg. I mean, really commit going hard at that hurdle, driving your knee there. And then when your trail leg swings around and it comes down and hits the ground, that's your first step to the next hurdle. You want to push hard off that leg. I think that will make the big difference for you. Okay. Moving on to, get back to where I was. 518. VAMC. Okay. So VAMC is a college sophomore, first year hurdling, saying he's still too high, because I'm pretty sure I reviewed his video. I just really liked the quality of the video. Still too high, his lead leg straight over the hurdle. Let me see what we're looking at here. Oh yeah. Okay, so first off is here you are reaching pretty far out and you're actually leaning back. Not a good sign. You want to be more up tall, more trying to go into the hurdle, but you're leaning back away from the hurdle. So work on that cut step. And then not bad motion. Why are you coming up on the hurdle like that? You're reaching the peak over here when it should have been back here, which tell, oh, you're probably, I can't tell exactly from the angle, but you might be a little just too close to the hurdle. So I would back up. So think about this. This all could fix. So you're looking good, looking pretty good. And then here you reach out in front. If instead you would have just taken a shorter step, let your leg come backwards here, that would have solved two problems at once. It would have had you taking off from here and would also keep you from reaching out like this. So on that last step, try to pull your foot back. Don't jump up at the hurdle. Jump up at the hurdle versus over the hurdle. And then yes, right here, I think your knee is too bent, which is one part of why you're going too high, because you'd otherwise clip your heel with the hurdle. And then your trail leg is underneath you. Another reason why you're having to go too high. So you got to get that trail leg out properly. It's not swinging, your trail leg's not swinging through properly. Look at that. So you're having to go really high to not hit, but had you had your knee out directly from the side of your hips and your lead leg a little straighter, you could have gone lower and that would have solved a lot of this problem. You wouldn't have this look right here, okay? All right. And then last one, Weston. Weston, 8th grade, second year hurdling, challenged with three-stepping consistently and the ball, having a hard time running on the balls of your feet, wants to know some ideas. Okay. Well, I can tell you what I see. It's really cool that you got a coach there helping you out. The first thing that I see is a very unusual lead leg. I mean, it's like you are, like it's this really straight lead leg way too early. See this? It should not look like that. And that is, you can see that even when you just watch your rhythm, it's like wee boom 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 wee boom boom, right? I mean, it's just like you're running good between it, and then you take this really long leap. Okay, so in case you don't already know, because I say this all the time, I should just record it and press a button. It looks like you are practicing at full spacing, which that right there is a problem. I don't think you should practice at full spacing because it's harder to reach and you end up having to do things like this in order to reach. And so you are just teaching yourself bad habits and then reinforcing them. And if you practice like this, you're going to race like this. Okay? So let me identify what's wrong with that lead leg. And I know you didn't ask about your lead leg, but it all works together. So, first off, look how far you're having to reach out in front of you with your lead leg. With your plant leg. That is just putting on the brakes. Why? Because your hurdles are too far away. Okay? And let's look at what your lead, so you've already slowed down right here. And then you pull, you're right here, your lead leg looks okay. Keep in mind that right here, where your thigh is in the direction that it needs to go. Let me zoom in. Oh, I can't. Okay. At this point where your thigh is in the direction where it needs to go, your lower leg should be angled backwards. Yours is way out forwards. It should still be backwards at this point. Like right when your thigh gets to here. Let's say for here for sure, it should be angled back. And then start to unfurl towards the hurdle. That keeps you driving forward, maintains your speed. Yours is giving you lift. Like, right? Lift, right? And so you get way high over the hurdle, and then you got to wait to land. Okay? And then you lost the speed from putting on the brakes and the speed from jumping up and the speed from waiting to land. So you have less speed now. So then you have to reach out really far, reach out. That's actually pretty good. And then reach out really far. So to be clear, you put on the brakes in front of the hurdle, jumped up at the hurdle. Both of those slowed you down. And then this is not a bad landing. And then reach out, pretty good. Reach out. So every time I say reach out, it's putting on the brakes. And then the same thing over and over again. It just keeps multiplying. The only reason you're able to three-step is because you're apparently a really good athlete. You're fast and you're strong and athletic, so you're pulling it off. But imagine what it would be like if you didn't keep sabotaging your own race by putting on the brakes. So, but again, it's all this, what's the word? I can't think of what I want to say, but basically, you keep practicing this way. So this is what you learn, and then you race this way. You need to practice the way you want it to be, learn how to do it right, have good practices that will translate to good racing. And so, yes, even though you need to practice with them a little lower and closer, because it's at practice. Oh man, I'm not doing really good with my words right now. But just know that all great hurdlers do this. Okay, probably about 1 foot less than you race at, spacing wise, and 3 inches down. Get good at that, and then you'll be able to go into the meets when you're all jazzed up and you've got the adrenaline flowing. You'll be able to pull it off. It'll feel just like that. Whereas this feels like much farther than the race distance because you don't have the advantage of race simulation. Okay? So I hope that helped. There's a lot in there. I don't think I articulated it super well, but let me see here. Are you doing live reviews right now? Yes, I am. Yes, that's her. I don't know what that means. How do I send a video? You send a video by going to my website at acemethodcoaching.com. You will see multiple things. There's a section that says free stuff or freebies. You'll see a picture of a boy hurdling towards the camera, and it says free hurdle video review. Learn more. Click there, and it'll show you everything you need in order to do that. Again, let's say what you see here is quick little versions of what I do in virtual coaching sessions. So if you really want a good coaching, definitely the thing you ought to do. Okay. All right, that's it. If you want to learn about hurdling, go to acemethodcoaching.com. I got multiple things on there to help you. All right, have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Coach Ace out.